Hello and welcome to Cathedral Thoughts. I'm Father Bill. For my modern saint this month, I want to talk about Mohandas Gandhi, known more popular as Mahatma Gandhi, a great political leader and agent for Indian independence who was born in 1869. Much has been written about him, of course, and such was the power of his impact, not only in India but across the world, that I couldn't hope to do justice to his story in one short broadcast. After studying in London to qualify as a barrister, Gandhi spent 20 years in South Africa fighting for Indian rights. Gandhi was appalled by the treatment of Indian immigrants there and joined the struggle to obtain basic rights for them. During his 20 years in South Africa, he was sent to prison many times, influenced primarily by Hinduism, but also by elements of Jainism and Christianity, as well as writers including Tolstoy and Thoreau. Gandhi developed the Satyagraha, his devotion to truth, a new non-violent way to redress wrongs. In 1914, the South African government conceded to many of Gandhi's demands. He once said that a small body of determined spirits fired by an unquenchable faith in their mission can alter the course of history, and how true that turned out to be. In 1915, Gandhi returned to India to lead a campaign against British rule using non-violent means. Inspiring others by his wisdom and courage as well as by his example, the long campaign was eventually won in 1947. Gandhi's simple lifestyle, minimal dress, and dedication to non-violent means of resistance endeared him to many people. His years in South Africa, working against discrimination of Indians as well as black people, had set the parameters of his later life. Here was a man who believed strenuously in the rights of the individual, and in particular the poorest section of society. He wasn't afraid to put himself, his freedom, and his life on the line to achieve his purpose, as is testified by his many jail sentences for civil disobedience and sedition, and his willingness to hunger strike to convince others that violence only leads to more violence. In 1918, the British scholar Gilbert Murray said of Gandhi, "Persons in power should be very careful how they deal with a man who cares nothing for sensual pleasure, nothing for riches, nothing for comfort, praise, or promotion, but is simply determined to do what he believes to be right. He is a dangerous and uncomfortable enemy because his body, which you can always conquer, gives you so little purchase upon his soul." Gandhi was once quoted as saying, "An eye for an eye only makes the whole world blind." His untimely assassination in 1948 deprived the world of a great thinker and politician who did so much to convince the world of the futility of war and violence. His final act to the gunman who took his life was to offer him a gesture of forgiveness. A reading from Scripture. Let us now praise men of renown and our fathers in their generation, rich men in virtue, studying beautifulness, living at peace in their houses. All these have gained glory in their generations and were praised in their days. They that were born of them have left a name behind them, that their praises might be related. And there are some of whom there is no memorial, who are perished as if they had never been, and are become as if they had never been born, and their children with them. But these too were men of mercy, whose godly deeds have not failed. Their posterity are a holy inheritance, and their seed hath stood in the covenants. Their bodies are buried in peace, and their name lives on from generation to generation. Let us conclude with words from Gandhi himself. I shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again.